Morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I was supposed to do speech number 8 or 7. I'm not even quite sure of that. But I wrote a speech a couple of days ago in my mind. I don't seem to write notes anymore. And then I went and looked at my book this morning and realized it won't fit. So I moved up to speech number 10. I can make it fit that. And so I'm here to convince you of an idea. And the idea is to help other people start speaking. Now, I'm noticing in our club it's kind of cool. There's some guys who've even brought their family members. Your son. Where's Stacy? Your son. Yeah, so it's been kind of cool. Family members are showing up, learning to speak. And so over Christmas here, we had a kind of gathering of friends and family. And I thought, some of our friends have some great stories to tell, but they don't get a chance. And other people talk and you can't get them to stop. And my son, who's only 7 years old, I'd like to teach him to do a little more public speaking or tell a story. And my nephew's a shy guy, so my brother and I got together and we created a game. And so we made our own game, and the name of the game was Is Hindsight 2020? And the way the game was going to work is we would sit around a table and everybody would have to tell a story. And we went around 3 times. And so you would tell a story that, well, we could put a time limit of maybe 1 minute to 5 minutes. You'd tell a personal story. And then everybody would go around after that and comment was, looking back on that story, did you learn something? Was there some hindsight to be found? And so everybody got to say something again. And it gave a chance for those little kids to just say something in front of a group. And it gave a chance to the older guys who are a little shy to tell their story or comment. And it also gave a chance for the people who talk too much to not talk so much. So it was kind of a fun game. And so I thought, this is really good. This is what's one of the things I've learned at Toastmasters, to bring other people into the speaking thing. And it's going to be really good, I think, for my family and my son to get a chance to speak more. So some of the stories I heard are kind of interesting. So I was going to tell 3 of those stories really quick. And the first one is about one of the first jobs that my brother had. And he worked for a caterer when he was 14. And they had a Hawaiian luau to go to. And the catering truck was ready to go, but the pig was not. So off went the truck to the catering job while my brother stayed back at the kitchen and finished cooking the pig. Then the boss and he took the pig out of the oven, put it in the boss's station wagon and took off, but now they're late. So you can kind of guess what happened. The boss is driving a little too fast, following a little too close, and the car in front hit a yellow light. So the person in front hit the yellow light, and my brother's boss really had to hit the brakes. Well, the station wagon stopped, but the pig didn't. So the big pan the pig was in slid, and he felt that hit the seat, and then after that, something else hit the back of the seat with a crunching sound, and he looked over the seat, and the pig had a major, possibly quadriplegic kind of action. It was sad. So there's nothing they could do right there. So on they went to the event, and they unloaded the pig, and this is where my brother got his first real kind of feeling for what modern-day chiropractic is all about. The boss gave him a couple of napkins. He grabbed the thighs of the pig and slid them back in the middle of the tray. The boss got on the front end, got a hold of the pig's head, kind of straightened it out, and popped it back into line. And so then they kind of dressed up the neck with a little bit of stuff and a new apple, and the pig was good to go. Well, so then we went around the room and said, well, what do you think? Was there something to be learned? Is there any hindsight's 2020? And I think the general feeling was, you don't just strap yourself in, you got to strap in the pig. So that was a good story. Then my nephew told a story, and he's a shy guy, but a really nice kid. So he told a story about riding with his grandfather. They took off a ride up in the Pecos wilderness up in New Mexico, and it was just him and his grandfather, and his grandfather was about 84 at the time. And grandfather loved to ride, but it really didn't get down to the grandson. He didn't really care for horses much, but granddad could convince him once in a while. And so they had gotten high up into the mountains, and granddad was crossing a stream, and his horse stopped to take a drink, and the horse was shuddering, and my nephew was watching this, and all of a sudden the horse fell over in the stream. And his granddad was yelling at the horse, kicking the horse because his leg was trapped, but the horse was just shuddering. And then his grandfather yelled at my nephew to hop down, get your rope. And he got down, and he was saying, start whipping him, start whipping him. And the horse's name was Bob. So my nephew's whipping this horse in the stream, yelling, Bob, get up, move, because his grandfather was trapped underneath him in the stream. Finally, Bob kind of got up, strumbled around, and fell over on the other side, and he was dead. So he died that quickly. Well, then my nephew got his grandpa up on the slope of the stream. They dug out a few warm clothes, kind of got him warmed up, and the horse had even landed on him really hard. He couldn't walk, so they got him up in the saddle again, and my nephew got him back down to town, and it took him months to get better, but Granddad was okay. And so we went around the table again, and what do you think of the hindsight 2020? What should have been done? And people were a little confused. What was a good result there? I mean, don't go riding. And one guy said, sometimes it is okay to beat a dead horse. Well, he's nearly dead. Then it was my turn, so I told my story, and it seemed to be a storytelling time for animals. So I told about the time I lived kind of near Parley Summit on 5 acres, and it's very remote, and there's no neighbors, and nobody can see us. So I cut my own hair fairly often with a nice Walmart $20 razor, put the number 4 on it, just, and I'll stand outside to do it a lot of times if the weather's nice. And then if it happens to be August and it's really nice, I might stand outside kind of en natural and do my hair. So one night, my then wife was in the bathroom, we're talking, I'm outside the door on a little 5-foot deck, and it's one of those nights that's very odd because it's so dark. I'm not sure the physics, what goes on in those really dark nights. Like maybe there's no moon, maybe there's really high clouds that are dark or something, because it just was black, and you couldn't see halfway from here to the wall back there. And we had a hot tub about halfway, and you couldn't really see the hot tub. And so I'm out there cutting my hair, and my dogs are barking at something, but I don't really pay much attention to that. They bark. Sometimes it's something real, and sometimes it's a can on the ground. You never know. So I'm cutting my hair, and out of the gloom comes 2 dogs running at me, and one turns right and one turns left, and there's a moose right behind me. And so I turned around and jumped through the door and closed it, and there's a moose. I mean, his nose is like 3 feet from the door. Whoa, that was crazy. So I let a little time pass, and I was talking to my wife and thought, well, I may as well finish up out there where the hair can just blow away, and it's a nice clean job. So out I went, but now I knew I was safer because now I knew there maybe was a moose out there, and if the dogs came, I'll know what to do this time. So I wasn't too nervous, but I was definitely more aware. I was looking around a little more, and they're out there barking, but it didn't seem too panicky. And then out of the gloom, here come the dogs again. Well, this time I turned to go in the house, but the dogs had a new idea. They decided they were going in the house also. And they both hit me and knocked me down. So now I'm on the deck, and here comes a moose, and he's coming right behind me. So I am scrambling like crazy. I cut my knees, I cut my elbows, I crawled through that door, and I was yelling to my wife, it's coming in, get in the closet. It looked so scary. It came right up behind me. And it scared the heck out of me. And so that was my story. And we went around the room again, and everybody had a comment. And that one, we never really came up with a good idea, because I got quizzed, would I cut my hair outside again? I still do. What is a hindsight 2020? Don't own dogs? I don't know. We never came up with a conclusion. But what was nice is that everybody got involved. Everybody had a chance to have their say. And it was a good game we came up with. So maybe you guys would invent your own game for your family to get the people who don't talk much a chance to talk more. And those people who talk too much, maybe a chance to listen a little more often. Thank you.